speaker coming from Shams Tabriz, Maryam mafi. Some people are the scribes of divine messages, and some are the recipients. Take a leap so that you are both the receiver and the scribe of messages meant for you. If you see me as stale, it's because you've become stale. See me only as fresh and new, for I never grow old. Try not to give in to advancing age. If you do feel old, search for the reason. Think whom you've been socializing with. Lay the blame on yourself and revitalize your yearning. I am always new and do not need your approval, for I'm perpetually blessed. I do not obey and bow to the Quran because it's God's words, but because the Prophet Muhammad has uttered those words. Love and conviction make one brave and push all looming fears to the far horizon. A Greek man, a non-Muslim, who walks through this door and sees me may begin to believe. He will learn much more from me than from those so-called sheikhs who are so full of themselves and have squandered their biggest asset, which is their need for spirit. They have turned themselves into vagabonds on earth. He's saying he's better than the sheikhs for a Greek. Oh, he'd be better than a Greek, a sheikh for the Greeks. When I busy myself with talk, the meaning comes chasing me. When I busy myself with talk, the meaning comes chasing me. To pray, to practice asceticism, to render service should not solely be to gain glory, but to give sincerely out of devotion without the expectation of any return. When you walk the spiritual path and you work hard, being true to your convictions, then why don't you share your purpose with another person as well? Why do you leave your friend to languish in his slumber? Are you an impostor, a hypocrite? Trees are grown for the crop. If they don't bear fruit, then perhaps it's best to cut them and burn them for heat they can generate. Two people sit before each other. One has no trace of an eye disease, nothing to hamper his vision, yet he sees nothing, while the other sees all. A patient who seeks a physician's help should not be occupied with anything other than his health. If a thirsty person desperate to find drinking water is offered sweet halva and accepts it, then his claim to thirst has been fictitious. The hungry person who claims to be famished but is offered drinking water instead drinks it is also being deceptive. A patient who seeks, when you meet someone who has abroad, when you meet someone who has a broad and all-encompassing personality, who speaks with an open mind and practices great patience, he prays for everyone in the world, encourages you to open up your heart and lifts your spirits out of this superficial, narrow world. He's an angel from paradise. And if you come by a person whose talk incites you to close your heart, if you feel his restricted view of the world turning you cold and disengaging you from life, exactly the opposite of the angelic person, he's evil and belongs in hell. When you have understood this concept, when it becomes consonant with your being, then no shake in the world can steal your love. 100 years of education is nothing compared with 1 moment spent with God. When Aristotle and his followers said that if everyone were like them, then there would be no need for prophets, they spoke nonsense. When Aristotle and his followers said that if everyone were like them, then there would be no need for prophets, they spoke nonsense. I am in total control of my ego. If I were offered a table full of exquisitely prepared dishes and sweets that others would give their right arm for, I would never touch them. I would not even desire them, keeping my appetite under control. I prefer a portion of barley bread when it's time to eat, which is much healthier than extravagant offerings of barani with grilled meats. He's not into luxury food. Who could ever survive?
Read it again.
That one? I'm in total control of my ego. If I were offered a table full of exquisitely prepared dishes and sweets that others would give their right arm for, I would never touch them. I would not even desire them, keeping my appetite under control. I prefer a portion of barley bread when it's time to eat, which is much healthier than extravagant offerings of barani with grilled meats.
You should read that every morning.
Me?
Yeah.
Do I crave like exotic sweets?
You have no control at all.
Exquisitely prepared dishes?
Anything you see, you're drawn to eat it.
Anything I see?
Yeah.
Is that why I say I want just one nut? And,
The opposite of you.
And that's why I say I just want cabbage with arugula.
No, you see the table he's describing.
I want to eat it all?
Some right.
I do? Yeah, well, right. Who could ever survive in your love but me? Who could ever survive in your love but me? Who plants seeds in salt fields but me? I shall relentlessly gossip about you to friends and foe, so no one will love you but me. Is he talking to Rumi? An ascetic who lives in a cave in the mountains is a mountain man and no longer a thinking human, for if he were, he'd be living among men who are intelligent and worthy of God's wisdom. What business do men have living in a cave? If a man were made of mud, then he would be attracted to rocks. But what can a flesh and blood man want with rocks? Do not go into Kalvat or seclusion and solitude. Remain an individual, present but detached. In the midst of a crowd, remember that the Prophet says in Islam there is no monasticism. They said there's, they don't have exactly monasticism in Islam. If you see, they don't have monasteries. No, it doesn't seem that he went into isolation in the mountains exactly. Though he says here that he remained individual, present but detached. He's still detached.
Yeah, in a crowd.
You're supposed to be. You're detached, so there is a sort of monasticism. There's detachment, definitely. God's world is infinite, an endless opening of the spirit. that is extremely difficult for some to comprehend, and at the same time much too easy an experience for others. So effortless, in fact, that they puzzle over why people even choose to talk about it. The path is quite easy. Easy. Do you say it's easy or effortless?
For some people.
This great secrets are hidden in the lines of jokes and tall tales. That's what we were reading Nasruddin before. I have only one friend in the entire world. How can I deny him his wish? You are not my friends. How could you even think that you might be? It's only because of Malana, that's Malana Rumi, that you may hear a few sentences. Otherwise, no one would hear a word from me. Did you ever hear me speak with anyone before or part with any secrets? When I speak to common men, I listen carefully because my words are secrets. Whoever belittles the advice I impart to laymen, thinking that it is mere superficial rambling and too simple for serious consideration, shall not benefit in the least from my thoughts or from me. It is indeed in my conversations with regular folks that I reveal most of my cherished secrets. And those regular folks. You could lay out 100,000 dirhams as a gift before me, or even offer me a castle filled with gold, but unless I see a light in your brow and detect yearning in your heart, you will be the same for me as a mount of feces. I told Milana straightforwardly that these people do not understand what I say. God has not ordered me to speak of mundane subjects. I'm only to tell the absolute truth, which would be too difficult for them to comprehend. With them, I will have to speak of an overlapping truth in order to conceal the original one, and so on and so forth until each sentence becomes a cover-up for the one before.
What she says?
Inanimate objects experience separation and union too. Oh my goodness, only we cannot hear their sighs. He says inanimate objects experience separation and union. That's objects, physical objects like rocks. The world of spirit is vast, unlimited in fact, but you have restricted it to a teeny package because that's all your mind can perceive. Thus you have boxed in the creator of the mind in your own negotiable mind. When someone begins to believe in faith, he in fact rejects his ego and its desires. We say that he thus dies, meaning that darkness no longer prevails, and this gift will henceforth be constant and unperturbed. We're reading from the mystical secrets of Tabriz.